All right, sixth graders, in chapter 4, we're going to be talking about fractions. Who knows what a fraction is? Sam?
It's a ratio.
It's a ratio of
Parts.
the number of parts out of the total. Yeah, a fraction is a type of ratio. And specifically, this type of ratio is the number of parts out of the total. Okay? In a fraction, the total always goes at the bottom. Sam. And the number of parts go in the above the line, above the fraction bar. This is called the numerator. The top number is called the numerator in a fraction. And the bottom number is called the denominator. So the numerator goes over the denominator. Now, the numerator and denominator, the numerator tells you how many parts, the denominator tells you how many total there are, but the denominator can also tell you something else. Anyone know what the denominator can also tell you?
What it's divided by.
What it's divided by, good, yep. So this can be the division bar, and you can convert this to a percent, meaning the amount out of the total. But you can also tell something by the denominator. If we're talking about like a pizza, for example, the denominator can tell you how big the pieces are. So for example, if you ordered a large pizza from Domino's, and they forgot to cut it up, so you decide to cut it into thirds. Are those pretty big pieces? Yeah, yeah. Usually the pizza is cut into eighths. So which one is bigger, thirds or eighths?
Thirds.
Thirds are bigger than eighths, yeah. Yep. Look, let's say that the pizza was cut into fourths. Okay? And somebody had one of them. Then there are 3 out of 4 pieces left. That's a fraction. 3 out of 4. 3 is the number that are still there. And 4 is the what?
Total.
The total. And
The amount left. Or no. The
no,
amount started.
tells you, the fourths also tell you what? What can you also get? What other information can you get from the fourths? David?
That the pizza used to be, that there was used to be 4 pieces?
That there used to be 4 pieces, and
That the sides are cut into fourths.
their size are in fourths. Yeah. So this tells you also the size of the pieces. And the lower this number, the bigger the piece, right? 1/2 is bigger than 1/4. 1/2 is bigger than 1/8, and so on. Okay? Now, we can write different types of fractions. For example, we could say that 3/4 of the pizza is still available to eat, and how much is gone? How much of the pizza is gone, Arthur?
That?
Yeah.
2/5?
No. If 3/4 are available. How much has been
1/4.
eaten? 1/4. Yep, 1/4. Now, let's say that there's 3/4 available, but in my family, if there was only 3 pieces left, and since I had 3 older brothers, there was a whole bunch of us. And so Mom would make more pieces. Yeah, by cutting them in half. So now there's not 3 pieces available, but there's how many?
9?
No, 3. And if each of the 3 is cut in half, how many pieces are available? 3 times 2. 6 pieces, yeah. So now the thirds are cut into sixths. Or sorry, the fourths. Sorry. The fourths are cut in half. And so you have, instead of 3 pieces, you have 6 pieces left. Okay? But are the pieces the same size?
No.
No, they're half as big. Right? When you cut the pieces in half, you don't have more necessarily, you just have smaller pieces. Okay? So all of these things have to do with fractions. Okay? Let's look at this number line. This is another way that fractions are used. Fractions are used a lot in measuring. So if you were measuring on a ruler, for example, this is a 1-inch ruler, and it also has centimeters. And in between 0 and 1, there's a big mark. What is that mark? So if this is 0 and this is 1 inch, then halfway in between, that big mark is the half-inch mark. Yep. The half-inch mark is right in between the 0 and the 1. Okay? Everyone look up here. What would be between the 0 and the half? What is half of a half? Look at the numbers here. What is half of a half on this scale? What is half of a half, Rachel? 1/4, 1/4. The 1/4 is in between the half and the 0. Okay? What's the mark between 1/2 and 1? Colton? 3/4. Right. 3/4. And so that is one of the marks that's on a measuring ruler or something like that. Okay? So when you're measuring something, if that measures up to here, then it's 3/4 of an inch. Or 3/4 of whatever it is, whatever unit you're measuring with. Okay? So you can look for those marks when you're doing your sheet. Now, let's go to the worksheet. It says to write a fraction of the shaded part. So, number 1, how many are shaded? Thomas? 5 out of 6. So you'd write 5/6. How else could you write 5/6 as a fraction? 5/6. What's another way to write a fraction? Arthur?
5 and then /6.
Good. 5/6 means 5 out of 6. Yep. Number 2. How many are shaded? Rachel? 8 out of 11. the number line. So, where is the mark located? Where is that mark located? If this is 0, and this is 1, what's it right in between? What's right in between 0 and 1 again, Alyssa? A half. So what is in between the half? What's this one? What's this one again? Keep on. 1/4, good. Then what would be equal to 1/2 in terms of fourths? 1/2 is equal to how many fourths? Trevor?
2/4.
2/4. So 1/2 is equal to 2/4. 1/4, 2/4. This one would be
3/4.
3/4. Yep. Now, let's talk about how to draw models. When you're drawing models of fractions, the easiest way to draw models is to draw a rectangle. And if you need to cut it into sixths, for example, then you should draw how many lines? 5 lines, good. 5 lines. We'll cut it into 6 pieces. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Cut it like that. Okay? And then it says to show 5/6, so then shade 5 of them. And that equals 5/6. Okay? Make sure you label your drawing. Yes?
You choose what circle too?
You can make circles, but it's really, it's harder to make the right number of pieces when you make circles, because if you mess up when you're doing this, you can always just add another box. Okay? You can always add another box if you need to. But in a circle, you have to redo the entire circle on a pie chart. Yeah.
Draw circles.
We're talking about circles. Like these. And like the stars.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you can make those. These are a lot more useful when you're doing math problems, if you make them like this. Okay? So on the back side, I want you to make them like this. When you're doing the back side, I want you to make them like this. Okay? On the back side, not on the front side. I said on the back side. When you do numbers 7 through 11, I want you to do them this way. Okay?
We're doing just 7 to 11.
For 7 through 11 on the back side.
That's all?
Yep.